Medical disclaimer. The entire contents of this audio recording are based upon the opinions of Dr. Kurt Visnick. Kurt has been a chiropractor for over 30 years and has been studying age reversal medicine for over 20 years. The information in this recording is not intended to replace a one-on-one relationship with a qualified healthcare professional and is not intended as medical advice. It is intended as a sharing of knowledge and information from the research and experience of Dr. Visnick. Dr. Visnick encourages you to make your own healthcare decisions based upon your research and in partnership with a qualified healthcare professional. If you are pregnant, nursing, taking medication, or have a medical condition, consult your healthcare professional before using products discussed in this audio recording.
I know a number of people have emailed me and asked me as far as like, what do I use for people that have certain kinds of health conditions, and so I wanna go over that. And again, we can't say cure, we can't say treat in any way. We can't tell people that we're doing any kind of treatment or cure or anything like that. And I'm going to use my father as my example. In this case, we were talking about lymphoma. My dad has a rare form of lymphoma. It's called Waldenstrom's, and there's very few people that have it. In the whole state that I live in, there's only 2 people. And so when we went to Mayo Clinic, I was with my dad the first day he went there, and he was pretty sick. He was having a lot of issues with the lungs, getting congested. He was having issues with the kidneys. He was having issues with the liver, and that's some of the side effects because of the disease. Because when you look at cancer of the blood, you know, it's always stage 4, right? By the time cancer has moved into the lymphatic system or the bloodstream, it's stage 4. And because I asked the doctor, I said, what stage is it in? And he said, well, it's always stage 4, because that's what stage 4 means. It's in the bloodstream. It's in the lymphatic system. So I point that out first, because people say, well, what stage? And same question I had. And I asked them, well, is there any, alternatives that we can use? That's what I asked the doctors at Mayo, and they told me, absolutely not. There's nothing out there that helps. And so I put my dad on the Triangle of Life. I put him on the Body Shield. I put him on a few other products. And he got better. He seemed to be beating it. And then it came back, and he got worse. We did it again. He got better. And this was along with chemo. The doctors were giving him chemo. And he got better, then he got worse again. And then a year ago in January, he was at a point to where my mom and dad were actually planning a funeral. And because the doctors told him that his kidneys were failing, his liver was failing, my dad looked like he was just really getting beat up by this thing, and so I sat there, and I didn't get any sleep for weeks, and I was doing research, and Tom Sr. and I were talking, and I said, I got to find something that's going to work. Anyhow, we came up with some research papers on PubMed, which is an excellent source, PubMed, and we found a piece of research that said that lymphoma, leukemia, and Waldenstrom's, that family of cancer, responded well to resveratrol. And of course, we know that with Eternity, we have probably the best resveratrol product on the market. And so if you hear what I'm saying is that we can't say cure, we can't say treat. My dad had lymphoma. Research said that lymphoma responds to resveratrol, right? So I can point at the research. Anyhow, with Eternity being the best resveratrol product on the market, I got my dad taking a triple dose of the resveratrol along with the rest of the Triangle of Life, and then I had him spread that out through the day. The Eternity response works the best if you put it in your mouth and you swish it around for 2 minutes and let it absorb into the bloodstream right through the vessels that are right there in the mouth cavity. And in 3 months, in about 90 days, we were back at Mayo Clinic. I was with my dad again, and the doctors they did their little blood test that they do every time he went in, and they came back in the room and they asked my dad. They said, "Well, how are you feeling?" And Dad says, "Well, fantastic." And the doctor said, "We don't see this happen." You know, my dad was 79. "We don't see this happen. We don't know what's going on." And they started showing us the blood work. And here my dad was, he didn't just improve a little bit. He improved a lot. And they asked my dad what he was doing, and my dad says, "Oh, nothing." And I found out that my dad had never told them that he was taking any of the products, because his experience was, from talking to his friends, as soon as his friends would talk about natural products, they would talk the people out of taking them, and he didn't want to go through that, so he just didn't tell them. Anyhow, 4 Restore came out in the summer, and I put him on that as well. And by October of this last year, my dad had put back on all of his lean muscle mass that he'd lost. He'd lost about 20 pounds since he got diagnosed with the cancer, and he put that back on. And I just had dinner with him and Mom last night, and he's looking fantastic. The doctors are just totally amazed at what's going on. He's no longer doing any chemo. He's no longer doing any cancer treatment. His liver function is back to normal. His kidney function is back to normal. His cancer numbers are way down, the best they've been in 11 years, and he's doing fantastic. Of course, the products didn't do anything right because they're natural products. So, but for some reason that chemo started to work last year, right? And so that's what we did, you know. So, Jeff, in answer to your question, now again, all I'm saying is that the research says that resveratrol helps. We don't know if it helped in my dad's case. I'd say that, you know, I'd probably say that it somehow it helped some things. If you look at resveratrol, some people ask me, you know, as a doctor, well, how does it work? What does it do? And there's something called anti-angiogenesis. And what that basically means is that it cuts off the blood supply. And angiogenesis meaning, you know, blood supply, so it cuts off the blood supply. That's how resveratrol works. You can limit the blood supply to a tumor. You can limit the growth of the tumor, and that's how resveratrol helps with cancer when you start looking at the research on it. And it's not any research on our products. We can't make any claims on our products. All I can do is point to the research, and so when you're talking to people, that's important to say it that way, is that you're showing the research, and then you're saying, here's the best resveratrol product I've seen. There's no research on our product. And so I hope that answers some questions that way.